Today we are installing the Wilwood Big Brake Kit on my 3rd Gen Tacoma. Let me open this box and show you what's inside. We kind of pre-assembled one of them here, but you're gonna get 2 boxes of this genuine Wilwood. These bolts. These bolts are really specific. They are 12-point socket. It's also got little holes. Let me see if I can get it on the camera. Little holes for the safety wire. Brake pads here. Brand new and shiny and looking amazing, which is this piece here. You're gonna get 2 of these, which are the calipers. Oh, here. You can only use high performance .3, .4, or .5.1 brake fluid. Look how beautiful this is. Oh my goodness, look at this. And that's the bracket, okay? One for each side. The rotors are directional. They are different. You'll see an arrow on them. This is the stainless braided brake lines. Don't drive on untested brakes. Only someone qualified should be installing. You need to use an inch-pound torque wrench only, and that is all it came with right there. Part numbers, this is for the hat. This is for the rotors itself. The bolts. This is for the braking pads. Stainless steel braided brake lines. This is all the stuff I purchased on my own right here. You need an inch-pounds driver. This one's a 3/8. The directions say you should have a 1/4 inch, but we have an adapter, so we'll make that work. This isn't required, but some stainless steel safety wire, and that's for this job here. You can go ahead and pause it there if you're interested in that. And I thought Loctite was all pretty similar, which it is, but we actually needed this one, 271. There it is, Loctite 271, and the thickness of the stainless steel is a standard 0.032. We got a bunch of this brake fluid. I also bought these myself. So these are extended brake lines for the rear. So we're gonna go ahead and throw these on. I think it's like 2 more inches or 3 more inches of travel in the rear. Also not in the package is brake cleaner. You're gonna need 1, maybe 2 cans of this stuff. I took out 1 washer and 1 bolt. I already put them on the rotor. I did sink down 2 of them just lightly so that the rotor doesn't move from the hat. And we are got them just like this so that they're ready for some Loctite. We are putting the bolts down in crisscross fashion.
After you do your crisscross torquing, right, I'll go individually just to double check that everything is torqued. 2, 3.
Last time we're gonna see you guys. So you will have to, on yours, cut the shield off. The bolts that came out of this spindle that we're holding the calipers on will be reused. Dust shield, we are not doing this part, but you want to cut that all off. As you can see, it is currently missing on mine because when I had this spindle reinforcement added, that was done as part of the labor.
You always want to do hand tight first, man. Then you start torquing it down. So it fits perfectly. And then you torque it down to what pounds?
All right, all the way. We just put this bolt back and that one, just so we don't lose them. You won't need any of this anymore, but save your brake clips.
So I'm gonna do a test fit. So the rotors are directional. Make sure you follow that arrow.
These calipers are directional. Wilwood will be on the outside. The second confirmation is the biggest piston out of the three will be on the top. But now we're gonna go ahead and put the shims in, and it's gonna look something like that.
I mean, one shim on the top, one shim on the bottom, or two shims on the top and two shims on the bottom. It has to be even.
So we are just rocking singles. We did remove this piece from here. It's just the same thing. You just undo this bolt and then you slide all this out so that you can get the brake pads in flush. Wilwood has these grooves that are directional. Yeah.
Put a little lock, some Loctite in that one. Slap that in there. Got the washer. Got your nut, lock nut. There should be a lock nut. So go to the bottom.
.30 foot-pound, 11 millimeter here. We're gonna get a longer socket. We're removing the caliper center bridge pad retainer bolt, nut, and tube from the caliper. You look at the alignment, you can see the clearance right here from the pad and the rotor. Everything looks great.
It's not side oriented or left or right oriented.
Gonna make sure that it's snug without play. 7/16 and an Allen. Good. It's rotating freely here. That looks dope. Look at that. So now we're gonna go ahead and put the tire on and just make sure the wheel is clearing the caliper. I think there's like at least an inch plus. Beautiful. If you use the razor blade, you might nick your lines. So just pop it open. Take out this brake line here. And then we're gonna quickly attach it to our caliper.
It should be done first before installing the brake cap.
You're using a special brake line wrench. If you see that, it's got a small opening only, just to fit the brake line in there. We are getting the adapter on now. The OEM rubber brake hoses generally cannot be adapted to the Wilwood calipers. You don't want the hoses to contact any moving parts, suspension, tires, brake. We are working it through the travel, and you can see here that it is barely touching. So we are gonna bend it back a little bit. Yeah, I just noticed there's an arrow here. We're gonna do the other side, and then we're gonna go ahead and bleed the brake lines. How we're gonna be lengthening the brake line cables in the back and the rear. But I'm gonna put that in a different video. But for this video here, you guys will see us bleeding all the brake lines. This one is definitely a little bit bigger. This one is super light. I can pick this up easy. Jeez, this one's got to be at least twice the weight here. We just noticed we made a mistake. We used the wrong brake line on the wrong side, so we're going to switch this up. You can find this by looking at the housing. The housing will fit one cable in particular. The OEM is a little thicker, and the Wilwoods are a little longer. As far as weight, I'd say they're about the same. Calipers, man, this thing I could lift easily with my pinky. I don't know if you can see. I'm not even worried about dropping it because it's so light, and it just feels really nice. This one, I wouldn't lift it without using my whole hand. Shoot, that's a big difference. Yeah, I'm gonna say this is maybe 7 to 8 times the weight of that. So you save some weight in the rotor for sure, on the caliper for sure. Pads not so much. The combination of adding this bracket and this caliper, this is probably 7 times heavier than that combo together. We're anti-seizing. We're installing some Tacoma rear red brake lines right now. All this came in the box. We're gonna replace this brake fluid because we bled it all out already. And we are using today this stuff. He's using a baby boogier to get the last bits out of the brake reservoir here, the brake fluid reservoir. So let's show you where the bleeder valves are in the back and on our fancy new brakes here. So if you look at the very top there, right above the line, that's the bleeder valve on the driver passenger side. But you always start with the farthest line, so we are going to start on the passenger rear, then we're going to do the driver rear, and then we'll do the driver we'll do the passenger front, and then we'll do the driver front, in that order. The 6 piston, you're still going to have these bleeder valves on both sides, on the bottom and the top. We're only going to be bleeding these top ones. And we're going to start with bleed one at a time, and we're going to bleed the inner one and then the outer one. But first, we changed the rear brake lines to stainless steel braided. So we're going to do the passenger rear and then the driver rear, and then we're going to do the passenger side and then finish up here on the driver's side.
For each wheel, we're gonna
top it off. Okay. We filled it back up. So this is pretty much empty. I hit this power button twice, and you can you can see here that the car is on. So you don't want to actually power up the motor, but we want the car on because that's how you get the ABS system working. Slow press, and then the third one is a press and hold. All right, pumping. 1, 2, 3, and holding. So right now he's bleeding it. 3, pressing and holding. And I'm pushing all the way down. And I feel the pressure release right there. If you can see here, we still look good. Bonsai wants to go around and check for leaks. Make sure everything looks good. We did maybe, I don't know, about 6 or 7 rounds in the truck, pressing and holding. All right, so this looks nice and dry, as well as this here. We'll check that same connection on the other side, as well as the 2 connections or the 4 different connections we made in the back. You don't have to pump on the brakes with this tool. So all we did here was use a zip tie. And he's bubble building pressure here, car's on, and that's bubbles. It's a lot of bubbles. I'll check the master cylinder, make sure we are still good on the brake fluid, but I assume so because we only took out this much. But we did replace a lot of air. 3, holding. How's the pressure? Pressure feels really good now. We've been bleeding the brakes for about an hour. It's gonna take some time to get all the air out. Be diligent. All right, pumping. 1, wow, that's pretty stiff. 2, 3, holding. I can't even push it all the way down anymore. All right, so we're starting to look good here. All right, go ahead and pump. That's a 1, 2. He's holding, so I'm gonna release. No air's coming out of there. It looks great. Now I'm gonna close it back up. All right, go ahead and pump. So he's gonna pump more. 2 and 3, holding. All right, we're gonna release. All right, clearing out the old brake fluid, but this looks really good, and the brake feels really tight. All right, so he's holding. We're gonna release. But we collected about a full bottle of this, and now we're gonna go to the driver's side. So all the brakes are looking so good so far. So we're gonna start on this inside here, and we're gonna try to fill up that bottle again. But the brakes are feeling really good. Holding, gonna release. All right, pump it. So I'm not seeing much air. There are really small bubbles. Holding. So I'm gonna go ahead and release again. Wow, that looks really good. We finished bleeding this inner one. We're gonna go do this outer one. All right, holding. There we go. Look at that, nice and slow. Hold. Every time you tighten this back, don't do it super tight. You don't want to strip it. All right, looks good. So we got a full cup. Every time you do that, refill the master cylinder. We're happy with the way it is now, so we're gonna clean everything up and give it a test run. We're gonna tighten these all down. One thing that is a bummer is this used to be white, and as brake fluid hit it, look at that. Oh, that part's still white right there. So we'll get these boots on here. You know, it'd be nice if they made ones that custom fit for this product. These were coming off of our old stock one. And you want to make sure that's seated all the way down, which this is not. There we go. Now it is.
All right, quick wipe down. Let's test drive this. Top it off. Let's test drive this. We're gonna get the wheels back on and then, you know, check out how awesome our new brakes are. All right, so I'm just pulling out of the garage and everything worked great so far. All right, so test number one, that did feel good. It was smooth. I definitely felt like it was an OEM truck stop again, which after the 35s, braking power seemed a little bit weak. These brakes warmed up just a little bit, and man, when I touched them, yeah, they stopped. This is better than it was this big brake kit on my heavier Tacoma with a lot of weight. Oh my gosh, it's really good. Yeah, just needed to warm up a little bit. That's a big thumbs up for me, man. I'm gonna recommend this. If you're looking for braking power, you can look at a big brake kit. If I'm gonna be towing something or running 35s or running a heavy truck, yeah, I'm gonna say this is a dope upgrade. I feel much more safe on the road, especially at higher speeds. Before it was the braking that felt like it was lacking, and now it feels pretty beefy. I'm gonna get the re-gear when I get my lockers, which I already cut out down there. Man, that was a great test ride. It's dark. Oh, you can't see. Well, you kind of see them in there. Look at that. That's the Wilwood right there. Yes, thumbs up. All right, we are gonna do a quick check of the master cylinder just to make sure everything is hunky-dory here. Oh, can never get over feeling so weak every time I open up my hood. Yeah, we're good, bro. It didn't move at all. Thanks for watching. Peace.